Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining for another session of Azure Power Lunch. As you know, we record these calls and place our recordings on our YouTube channel. So if you're not comfortable with it, you may want to drop off now. Okay. So with that, we're gonna starting with our topic of a discussion today, which is Entra ID custom claims provider. So as we always do, we are going to go through like what is custom claim provider, why do you need it, what is the use case for it, and let me just move this thing on the side. And finally, how you can do it. It's a demo-driven session, so I just have a few slides just for the reference. Okay. So first of all, a custom claim provider is nothing but a REST API. Okay, a REST API where you return some claims. Okay, you register it in Azure AD as a claim provider, and then one or more application can take advantage of it to enrich the claims. Okay. The question is like, why do you need that? For example, one use case is, let's say you are doing the legacy migration. You were using ADFS or you're using LDAP, and um, you cannot move everything into Azure AD. You still have some information that sits in LDAP. Okay. In that case, you may want to get that information through a custom claim provider. Another scenario is that your information is not entirely in Azure AD. It's stored in third-party services or third-party data stores, and you need that information in the claims, but you cannot migrate it entirely into Azure AD. Okay, so these are some of the scenario where you will need a custom claim provider. And I'm going to show it to you. It's very simple to implement, and we will go through end-to-end scenario. Just quick heads up, if we are running late, short on time, I may show you some of the already baked cookies, instead of like watching the whole process, we may jump into the end scenario. So just want to give a quick heads up. Okay. So let's go into the demo. And before we go into the demo, here are the steps we are going to be following. We are going to be creating a REST API. We are going to be registering it as a custom authentication extension. We are going to be doing the admin consent. Just keep in mind, I am the admin of my own Active Directory that I have created. In your scenario, in your organization, you may have to talk to somebody who has admin access, and they have to approve it because it's a serious thing. You're doing a custom extension, so it needs an admin consent. Okay, so you will need that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to create an OpenID Connect app to receive these tokens. We are going to set that app up, and then assign a custom claim provider. And finally, we're going to protect our Azure function because we're going to be implementing an Azure function. In this scenario, you can use another API, but for sake of simplicity, just following the docs, I'm going to implement the Azure function. And then finally, we are going to test the application. Okay, hopefully everything goes well. Okay, so let's start with the implementation of the Azure function. So what I'm going to do here is, and by the way, any questions so far? Sometime I'm not looking at the chat window if I'm demoing, so please feel free to open up your mic and ask the question. So I'm going to do a function app, and let's name it. Okay, and just to make it absolutely simple, I'm gonna do a function app with a consumption type, and I'm going to use Windows so we can edit it inside the portal. Okay, so I'm going to use .NET Stack, and I'm going to use the hold on one second, .NET process model. South Central is my where is that? South Central US is my region. That's it. And I'm going to create this. Okay. Once that function is created, what we're going to do is we are going to go in and update its code. So give it a second while this thing is running. It's gonna create the function and okay. So just keep in mind that you can write it as a different API, but I mean, authentication and all those things has to be done. I mean, the sample is there for Azure Function. So I haven't tried with any other. I'm just trying. I have tried it, and I'm planning to show the Azure Function. So let's see if it is okay. The resource is ready. So let's go there. The function is ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create the function. Uh, I'm going to call it HTTP trigger, and I'm going to name this function this thing. Okay. Very cryptic name. So let's create it. And then what I want to show you here is how this function look like. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to remove this code, and I'm going to paste the code, and then I'm going to walk you through very simple code, nothing fancy. Let's start from the bottom up. Okay. We are creating a data structure. And we are creating this data structure because we want to make sure that this data structure, because it's compliant to what Azure AD is expecting. Okay. So look, this is the type of data structure. You have top level response content that has data, and then it has claims. So put long story short, we are returning a set of claims. That's what we are doing. Okay. And what claims we are returning? We are returning the correlation ID, API version, date of birth, and custom roles. That's what. I mean, oh, by the way, just keep in mind you have the entire request at your disposal. So what you can do is you can get the data from that request and don't query. So theoretically, what you can do is you can go in and you can query a database, or you can query an external service based on the data that you have in this particular request body. Okay, got it? Uh, so here is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a simple log information here, just to log what we have in this request body, and that's it. That's all the change that I'm going to make, and that's it. And let's save it. Okay, so now we have saved the function. And what we're going to do is we are going to go in and get the function URL. And remember to get this URL. Okay. Now the next step is that we are going to go into Azure Active Directory and register a custom claim. Just remember, first create the function, then register the extension. Okay. So just want to show you that step. So we are going to open this link in a new tab just to make sure that we have okay, let's go in there, give it a second, let Azure AD to open up. Okay. For some reason, when there is a demo, things tend to slow down. I'm not sure why. Okay, okay. So here we are. So in order to do the um, um, custom claims, you go into the enterprise application, all application, and that's the custom authentication extension. Okay. So let's click on that, and it's going to open up the window of what custom authentication extension you have, allow you to create a new one. Okay. As you can see, I've been playing around with this thing for a while. So I have extension. So let's create a new one. And this is the name of the extension. This is the name, and the URL will come from here. So I'm just going to copy it to the clipboard. I'm going to paste this here. I'll name it 4. That, and let's put the same thing in description. Okay. And um, that's that. Let's move on. API authentication, create new app registration. Yes, we want it to create a new app registration, and I'm going to name it uh, or it's going to create a new app registration. And then the next thing is claims. Okay, so remember, if we look at the function code, we have these 4 claims that we are emitting, and we are going to get all these 4 claims registered here. So these are available for applications to use. Okay, so it's very simple. Just add it. It's going to keep adding new lines, and you keep adding those claims that we had in there in this one. Okay. Any questions so far, folks? So just remember, creating the function. Second is registering the extension. Okay.
So
That,
can you
sorry.
um, type those claims? So assign a type, like a date time to the date of birth claim name, or are they all string?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. I'm just keeping this simple. So I'm pretty sure you
Okay.
can.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So validation has passed, and let's create it. It's going to take a second to create it. And just keep in mind, this is the step that will require admin approval. And maybe the previous step may require as well, but this step will definitely require the approval because this extension that you're creating is an administrative level task. So you see, it's coming up. It's going to say required permission, and I mean, since I am the admin, I can do it. But in scenario, you may have to ask an admin to do it and approve it for you. Okay, in your organization. Okay, admin consent must be granted. Okay, just say grant permission, and look, it's going to come up. I am the admin, so I'm just going to say yes, uh, accept. That's it. And that's it. That step is taken care of. Okay. Now, the next step is let's go back to our slide deck for a second. We are going to configure a simple uh, application that will be using this claim. Okay. So let's do that. Once again, I'm going to go back to the app registration and I'm going to register a new app. So here we go. I am going to call it a new registration and let's come up. The name has come up. It's going to be a simple web app and we are going to use jwt.ms so we can see the token. I mean, the thing is we don't want to have like a extensive application where somebody is calling, requesting token, all of that. The goal is we just want to see the custom claims, okay? Just to prove the point. Um, and that's what we are going with this app. So we are first gonna registering it, okay? To register this app, there are a few other things that you will have to do. First of all, let's go into the authentication and let's scroll down and make sure we use the implicit and hybrid flow. That's one thing. Okay. The next thing that you have to do is go to manifest. And by the way, I have outlined all those steps in the slide deck and make sure that maps are true because we are going to be using map claims. If you remember from the last session, when we were doing custom claim, we have to set this property to true. Okay. Second thing is request access token version should be 2. Oh, just a quick heads up. You do not want to turn on accept map claim if you have a multi-tenant application. Okay. That has security implication. Please read the docs and just keep in mind. Okay, these 2 things, let's save it. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we are gonna go back to um, go back to the um, overview of this application, we are going to go to the service principal side of things, and we are going to add those custom claims. Okay. So we go in here. Oh, before we do anything, let's get the app ID of this thing. Okay, this is the application ID. So I'm just gonna copy paste it on the side, the second window that I have Notepad open. So I'm gonna do single sign on, and over there, I'm going to edit the claims. So this is the thing we are doing. We are now going to advanced setting, and we are saying we need to use a custom claim provider. If you remember, we have this is the provider that we just have created, so we are going to use that. Okay, so we are using a custom claim provider, and let's start adding those new claims. Okay, so what we do is, and if we look at the drop down, look, all these claims are showing up. So we're just doing mapping. Okay, so let's add those new claims. We are going to do the next, we are going to do API version and paste API version here. And you can name it anything. I mean, I'm just doing one-to-one mapping, but you can do any way you want. Okay. And then the correlation ID. The next is correlation IDs. So I'm going to go in here, um, go add the correlation ID. And from the drop down, I'm going to select correlation ID, and that's it. And the last one is the custom roles. Add new claims, went into custom roles, attribute, custom roles, save. Okay, so that's everything is now saved. We have created custom claims. There's only one thing remaining. We have the function, but we haven't turned on authentication on that function. That is important because that function is going to be called from the Azure Active Directory as a part of the extension. So let's go to the function and go to authentication. Okay. Once we go into the authentication, add identity provider, and turning on Azure AD Auth. And you can do any other OIDC. I'm just doing it for the Azure AD Auth. Okay. Just keep in mind, pick an existing app registration for this. Okay. And what is the app registration? We just created an app registration um, for this. And let's search here. Pick an app registration. Let's paste it here. This is the one. This is the one we just created for. Okay, for the secret, because it's going to store the secret here. Second thing is important to note, change the URL, this issuer URL. Okay, we are going to be using this URL. Okay, third one, we are allowing requests from a specific client. What that means is this will be called from Azure AD is specific, and that's documented. It's not like I'm just pulling it kind of a rabbit out of the hat. This is documented in the links. This is the request ID or the specific client ID that you need to allow access to. Okay, that's that. The rest of the stuff is pretty standard. Oh, by the way, uncheck this box. We are not using, because it's the token store, we are not using token store. Okay, that's it. So now let's go back to the steps. We have allowed implicit flow. We have set up the claim policy. We have set the custom claim provider for the app, and we have protected the Azure function. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we are gonna call this app, and in order to do that, we are going to use this particular and we are going to do it through the browser, of course. So here is the URL that we're going to be using. And let me open a new notepad and show it to you what it is, and I will explain. Okay. Here we go. So this is the URL. This is my Azure AD. This is the authorization. This is the client ID. This is my test apps client ID. If we go, remember the test app, the jwtms.app that we created, and this is the ultimate URL, and scope is open ID, and that's that. So basically, that's what we are doing. And let me minimize this. Let's go to our browser and let's open this window here and paste it. Okay, it's gonna ask who is the what account I want to use. Okay, what's going on? Hopefully we didn't miss a step. For some reason I saw last time it did this error. Hmm, what did I miss? One second. Let me see if I missed anything or I forgot to save anything. Give me 1 second. This is the so let's go in here. This is our app. Um, single sign on, and let's go to the app registration. Let me get the app name. 1 second. Okay, this is the app. So first of all, authentication. Oh, sorry, we have to go to the test app. Never mind. I may have messed up there. So let's go to the test app. Yeah, this is the test app. So first of all, authentication. Let's just double check it. Oh, I think we didn't save it. Okay, sorry guys. So let's save it. And let's check the manifest as well. So hopefully we save the manifest. Yeah, that's good. So let's run this one more time. So I'm just gonna copy this thing um, again and try it out. Okay, so let's go back here and let's paste it. Try it out again. Set. Okay, here we go. So here it is. Let's see what claims we have. So we have all these claims, and look, these claims are showing up. Very simple. Function. Uh, we register the function as extension, and then we created a test app that is using that custom extension. Oh, by the way, we have to grant admin consent for that particular extension because it's a high level function. Test app using those claims, we configured it, and of course the function should be protected with Azure with the proper authentication. That's what it is. And by the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this tab to the new window. I'm going to move it to a second screen, and I want to show it to you. Like it's how the actual function is actually being. So if I go into the function here, where is the function? That's the function. And if we go into, um, let's go here, log stream. Any questions, folks?
So the claims that we put in there, three of them were hard coded, but the correlation ID that's
Yeah,
live, that's coming from the request.
absolutely. And by the way, just keep in mind that I am like doing a very simplistic, you know, you can query a database, anything, as long as you pass in a format, it should be good. So Let me just paste it here. Let me run it again. Okay, look. So I just ran it. And look, this is the token. This is the entire token that being sent. Okay. And it has the display name uh, of the app, and it should have the name of the person as well. Display name Azure admin. This is the user who is logged in. So you have all that information, all that this thing is available. So you can basically get this data. So you can use that to query like some third party databases to get the information out from there using this particular you see here, this is the mail, so you can take this and query other databases as well. So that's that. So that's pretty much I wanted to show you basically how you can use a REST API as a custom claim provider, register it, and then remember it will require an admin consent, and then use an application which can take advantage of these custom claim providers. So any final question? We have 2 more minutes. Okay, but there are no other questions. I will give everybody their 2 minutes back and hope to see everybody next week for another session of Azure Power Lunch. Thank you.